Morning, everyone. It's Sunday, about 4:45 in the morning. I was up and thought I'd make a video for you today about bicycle bags and carrying your things when you're out on a ride, out touring, bike packing, whatever it is you do. And going to give you my opinion on what I think makes a great bicycle bag if you don't want to spend a lot of money on really nice bags. Um, I kind of DIY stuff, and I currently use these myself. I took the big dummy bags off the big dummy, and I now use um, the Alice packs, which I'm about to show you. So let me back this camera up, make sure you got a good view. Back it up a little bit. So this is a medium Alice pack, okay? And this is a large Alice pack. Now the main difference between the medium and large obviously is the size. You can see that the large has 3 big pockets on the front plus 3 additional pockets up here, and then most of the features for them are exactly the same. This large has these 3 additional pockets. The medium still has 3 pockets. I just don't think they're as big as these. And you can see the difference in the size of the two, especially if you put the medium in front of the large. You can see it's significantly bigger. So there's the two side by side. Currently, I keep one of these mediums on the big dummy at all times. And the medium has, like I said, has 3 pockets, 1, 2, 3 in the front. And it has inside, it has what they call a radio pouch, which is right here at the top. I don't know if you can see that. Hold on. There. It has a radio pouch. And then it has, of course, the very inside of it. And then here, this is the top of it that goes over. Okay, you open that up, there's more storage in there. On the back, it has this padded section where the Alice pack frame fits up inside. Now I have a video from 5 years ago. It's called DIY panniers / saddlebags. It's on my channel. And on that video, I explain how I use white cutting board material, white melamine, and various different nuts, bolts, hooks, washers to attach that to a regular rear rack on a bicycle. I made my own attachment point because I used to use these on the bike I had before the big dummy. And the only reason I switched from the big dummy bags to these is because the big dummy bags, I have like the first generation that in my opinion was the better of the 2 generations of big dummy bags. The last production run of the big dummy they did, the frame was different, and the bags they came out with, I did not like the way they looked at all. But I still have my original set, and I think they're far superior, but they only have like 2 big pockets, and this for me just works better. Plus I just love Alice packs. I think they're very durable. They're easy to repair. Like if they were to rip or tear, you can easily sew them up. When the little threads like that right there start to fray, before they get too far gone, I always just take a lighter and just burn them down, reattach them to the bag. Also, they're made of like a really slick nylon material, which gives them a little bit of like water resistance, But I sprayed my bags down with a waterproofer I bought at Walmart. It's in a big tall can. I don't remember the name, but it's got an orange cap. Works really well. But I mean, you're never going to, even if you spray these down, when this flap is over there, any wind blows, it could blow it up. You're bound to get water in there. But the nice thing is, there's weep holes. You see that? There's like a little grommet right there, but it's a hole in case this bag were to get full of water. Each pocket's got one, and the bag itself has two on the bottom. Can't remember if there's any on the side, but it also has, you know, all these attachment points on the side for various different things. And the other good thing about it is, like if you wanted to put two of these on the back of your bike, you'd have one full of supplies, you know, for your bike, whatever. You could have the other one as a hiking pack, and you can buy, you know, an Alice pack, plus you can buy the straps for it. You don't have to have a frame. You can just use it with straps. So you could literally have it on your bike, and if you wanted to stop and hike somewhere, you could throw the straps on it. You'd have a really durable backpack for hiking. Let's see, what else was I going to cover? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick little story. Oh, also, before I tell you the story, I took the original straps. These are the original straps that were on there, but they didn't have a quick release. So I went and got some bags real cheap at Goodwill, like bags I could buy for $1 or $2 a piece that had large quick releases on them, and just cut the quick release off, and I added them myself to the bags. There's probably a lot of videos on YouTube about how to do that. It just makes everything a lot easier to get inside your bags quickly. And I'm going to show you the bag I carry and what I carry in it. Then I'm going to explain briefly why I carry the things I carry. So I went on a ride with this group here in Jeffersonville a couple years ago. And I was the only one with a cargo bike, and I was the only one with this big bag on my bike. Most people had skinny tire bikes. A few people had electric bikes. But a lot of the things I carry came in really useful on that one bike ride. And all the people that were there on the bike ride, they were like, man, you're really well prepared for just about any situation. And that's why I carry a lot of the things I carry. I just like being prepared for whatever situation may come up, not just for myself, but when I see other people, like others, especially other cyclists, because all of us cyclists are like a big community. You know, most of us just have a mad love for bicycles, so we gotta help each other when we're out there. I see someone with a flat or stop, and then I see them looking at their bike, you know, got some kind of problem. I always stop and ask them if they'd like help. If they say no, I just move on. If they say yes, I do my very best to help them, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be good to each other, kind to each other. And I mean, that's up to each individual. If you don't want to help other people, that's on you. But I'm just not that person. Also, the way that I attach these to my my bike, the Big Dummy, is I have these strings that I made, and I made them in various lengths for attaching to different points on the bike. But what I do is I put this up through here, and then this string will go through, there's a rail on the side of the Big Dummy, and there's the dummy deck, which has a lot of holes in it. And this goes up through the rail and then up through one of the holes. And then what it does is it goes back through this loop, and I pull it tight, and then all I have to do is tie a knot in it, like so, and it can't come back through that loop. It cannot slip back through there. There's no way that big ass knot's going through that little loop. Now, that little loop is sewn, if you can see that. I took the time to push a needle back and forth through there and around and up and through those. I made these to attach my bags. to my bike. Looks like this one's fraying a little bit there. A little loose string here, can't have that. There we go. All right, so move this table forward a little bit. Here is the medium Alice pack that I carry on the big dummy. Every ride I'm on, this thing is with me. This is it, and it's fairly heavy. It's got some weight to it, but I never feel the weight when I'm riding. Never. The reason I don't feel the weight is because the bicycle's carrying the weight. I just pedal the bicycle, and it's only on one side, and it's on the right side of the bicycle, same side as the crank and the derailleur, always keeping it away from the road. And it does not make my bike like super off balance or anything. It just, I guess maybe I'm just used to it. I don't know. But one of the questions I get asked a lot is, like, you see this part right here, this plastic holder, and it's got this stick in it. Okay, stick has a hook at one end. It's a poplar dowel, about 4 feet. Has a cap, has a nice rubber handle. And when I went on that ride, let me move this camera over here. When I went on that ride with that group, they saw that stick and they asked me what it was for. And I told them it's for different things. One, it's a hiking stick. If I wanted to walk a trail, I like to have a hiking stick with me. Two, with the hook on the end, if I see something, you know, up in a tree that I want, I can reach up there and pull it down. I live by the Ohio River. A lot of times, especially during flooding, you see things floating down the Ohio. So if you were to see something floating by that you wanted, and you could reach it with a stick, you got a hook on the end to hook it and get it out of the water. You know, because you never know what's going to be floating down the Ohio. It could be a big wooden box, you know, and who knows what's in it. No, my luck, you know, I'd snag it out of there. It'd be a box of fucking used dildos or something I definitely do not fucking want. But that would just be my luck. The other thing this is good for is to keep animals away from you that are trying to attack you. Not to hurt them, but you could, you know, if they have a collar and you can get that hook around it, you could twist that collar up a little bit, kind of take their wind away, you know, or just control them by having hold of their collar. Or if they're real aggressive and you had to give them a good whack in the snout. Not that I ride around hurt animals, I don't do shit like that. But I'm just saying, like, you never know. Because who wants to be out on a bike ride and get attacked by a dog and have their calf or their thigh gnarled up where you could never ride again? Not me. But that's, you know, that's some of the reasons I carry this staff, this 4-foot poplar dowel. Get this bag back up here. All right. Back the camera up a little bit. I hope y'all can hear me. I got to get a microphone here soon. All right, so first thing you see is a coffee cup. It says eat, ride, sleep. I found that at a Goodwill once and I just really liked it. So I thought, man, that's a cyclist cup if I ever saw one. So I got that. All right, we'll start with the pockets on the outside. So in this pocket, I have a folding saw. And believe it or not, this is one of the items when I was on that ride with that group. We were actually riding down the Greenway here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. And we come down the trail and there was an actual tree across the trail. And everybody was up there. I had fallen to the back, just riding by myself. And I get up there, and the woman leading the ride was like, does anybody have a saw? And everybody's like, I bet he does. And I reached in my bag. I was like, yeah, I got one right here. Because you never know. I mean, it came in handy. A tree fell down across the Greenway. It wasn't a huge, super large tree. It was very easy to cut up and move off the trail. but you just never know what you're going to run into. Let's see what else is in here. I got a little tie, one of them, you know, like little, I don't know what you call them, little bendy tie, I guess. I don't know. I got some I can't even remember what those are called. I'm drawing a blank here. Bungee cords. I got some bungee cords. I have a bag with some birch bark and some dryer lint in it. Because hey, you just never know when you might need to make a fire. Alright, that's all that's in that pocket. Now in this pocket, got a pair of rubberized gloves. Also have some towels, like hand towels. What else? Another hand towel. I have a 20-inch tube for the Tipke folded trailer. A couple of those, just have some extra tubes for the trailer. Got some 550 cord. Got some more 550 cord. Got some more 550 cord. Look, some more 550 cord. Some Velcro fasteners and a roll of black tape. I have just a little bit of 550 cord. Now on the inside, let's see, do I have anything in here? Yep. I got some big zip ties. Got some napkins. That's all I got in there. And on the very inside, we got my rain suit. That's my rain suit right there. Put that off to the side. And then in the radio pouch, I have a sewing kit in a waterproof box. There, you can see in there, it's a big old sewing kit. I have a first aid kit in a waterproof box. You can see right there, and I have tampons and maxi pads, because maxi pads are made to absorb blood. So you get a big gash, that thing might just be what you need. If you got a puncture wound, you can push this in there, pull the applicator off. It's made to plug a hole for blood. That's what it's made for. Learned that in the military. Alright. Got a cable lock. Got a U-lock. And then in the very bottom here, I have my rather large tool bag. And that's the heaviest part of this whole bag, is that tool bag right there. Now we'll move some of this stuff. Let's move some of this so we can have some room to see here. All right. So in the old tool bag, I have some chain lube. I have some more black tape. I have a extra tube. I have some tire levers. Now this patch kit there's a lot of modern patch stuff in there, but that was an old Schwinn patch kit box someone had at their house, and they brought it to me, asked me if I would like to have it, and I was like, hell yeah. I like old bicycle stuff. It's, you know, kind of cool to see old stuff like that. It's got the little scratcher part right on built into the lid, but I got a lot of modern patch stuff in there. And then I don't think there's anything in this part. Nope. Okay, so over here on this side, I've got several things. So I got some Park Tool super patches, and I got to tell you, I had another pack. I used one out of it and give it to someone so they would have some patches. These are about the best patches I've ever seen in my life. They work really well. I'm going to actually get some more and put them on my bike, but they're like one of the best patches I've ever seen for a bicycle inner tube. Then I have a small bag with various little nuts, bolts, and brake cable parts and cable ferrules and just all kinds of stuff in there. Got another bag full of nuts and bolts, washers, nuts. Got a bag full of some little tiny nuts and washers. And then I got some shifter cables. And they're from Jaguar, and they're slick stainless, and they're pre-stretched. And I got one that's long enough for my front derailleur. Oh wait, that's a shift cable and a brake cable. Yeah, the brake cable is long enough for my rear brake. And then I got a shift cable. I don't remember, what is that one? 3100 mil. I think this might be the one that's for a tandem for the rear derailleur. I think I carry, yeah, these are both for, because this brake cable is 3500 millimeter. Because the big dummy is 7 feet long, I had to buy cables for a tandem bike to get to the rear brake and the rear derailleur. So that's what these are for. In the other side pocket over here, I have just some more brake cable and housing that I keep, not just for my bike, but if someone out there has a broken cable, I'll replace it for them if they'd like. Some more cable. And then in the main compartment, I have an extra tube in here. You can see it right there. And then just various tools. I'm not going to pull them all out of there because there's no point. But I have a lot of tools I keep in there. And this is what I carry normally on any ride I go on. Put this camera back up here. Anytime I go on a ride, this is what I have with me. Trying to be prepared. Like the sewing kit, people are like, well, why would you have a sewing kit? Well, let's say I was out riding for a couple days and my clothes got ripped up. At night when I'm sitting by the fire doing nothing, I'm going to sew them up. That's just the way I am. If you were to get a super large gash in your skin and you were not somewhere that you could get some help, if you could take the pain, you could stitch yourself up. If my bag's ripped, like I'm riding, I get a big gash in my bag, but I need my bag to get me back home, well, I'm going to sew it up. And of course, if I was out riding for a few days, I'd have some fish line with me, and I'd probably sew it up with some of the bigger needles I have in some fish line, because monofilament is very strong, stronger than a lot of threads, and I'd probably sew it up with that. But I try just to be prepared for whatever situation I might run into. And, you know, like I was out one day and I found some kids that were broke down on the Greenway, and they were young, didn't know what to do. and the little girl's bike, her derailleur had bent, and I got it fixed enough where she could ride home. You know, I stopped and asked them, do y'all want some help? Luckily, my girlfriend was with me, because if my girlfriend wasn't with me, I probably would not have stopped and approached those kids, because the world's just too fucking weird now, and I'm just not into it. You know, I'm just leery of shit like that. But because she was with me, and there was also, you know, a camera right there on the greenway that records the greenway, so I knew, you know, no matter what, I was going to be safe, because I had a witness and I had a camera. Because nowadays people say shit and everybody's like, oh my God, oh, without even knowing anything. It's just a weird world. But I found quite a few people broke down, and the stuff I have has been able to help them. And but this is my video on bike bags. If you want a cheap alternative to spending, you know, hundreds of dollars on bicycle bags, which I think is ridiculous, because Alice Packs, they're still around. They're not as cheap as they used to be, but nothing's as cheap as it used to be. But just an alternative. If you don't want to spend a lot of money on bags. This video is getting kind of long, and I'm going to sign out for the day, and I hope you all have a great day, and I know we're all praying for warmer weather. So, Cargo Boy Cowboy, I'm signing out. Y'all have a great day.